Have you ever caught your reflection in a shop window or a bathroom mirror and been forced to pause, taken aback by the person staring back at you? It is a deeply unsettling experience, a moment of profound disconnection where the face you see seems to belong to a stranger. This man looks tired, not just from a single poor night's sleep, but a bone-deep weariness etched into the lines around his eyes and the slight slump of his shoulders. His spark, that inner light of enthusiasm and confidence that once defined him, appears to have dimmed to a faint, flickering ember. His body, once a reliable and powerful vessel for his ambitions and desires, no longer feels entirely like his own. It moves with a certain reluctance, aches in unfamiliar places, and fails to respond with the vigor he remembers as his birthright. If you are a man over the age of 60, this feeling might be more than a fleeting thought. It might be a daily, unwelcome companion. It is the quiet, creeping sense that the vitality you once took completely for granted, the boundless energy that carried you through long work days and vibrant weekends, is inexorably slipping away through your fingers like fine sand. It is the frustrating reality of your energy reserves vanishing by midday, leaving you drained and unproductive for the rest of the day. It is the erosion of your confidence, which now feels like a distant, hazy memory of a younger, more assertive man. And perhaps most painfully, it is the transformation of the intimate connection with your partner, once a source of profound joy and mutual affirmation, into a landscape of frustration, anxiety, and unspoken disappointment. You may have already resigned yourself to this narrative, accepting this slow fade as the inevitable price of aging, a non-negotiable tax levied on a life well lived. But what if that universally accepted story is not just incomplete, but fundamentally wrong? What if the decline you are experiencing is not an irreversible slide into old age, but a massive, collective, and tragically overlooked misunderstanding of how the male body is designed to function? What if the key to rewinding the clock on your energy, your physical performance, and your very sense of self is not hidden within a complex medical diagnosis or a prescription pad, but in a series of simple, powerful secrets your body has been desperately trying to tell you all along? Across the country, thousands of men, quietly and without fanfare, are discovering this profound truth and, in doing so, are reclaiming the strength, passion, and vitality they thought was lost to them forever. The choice to continue ignoring these signals could very well be the single biggest mistake you make for your health and happiness in the years to come. But the courageous decision to finally listen, to understand, and to act could change absolutely everything. The overlooked architect of vitality. Let's begin our journey by examining the absolute foundation of your body's intrinsic power, a nutrient so fundamental to masculine health that its prolonged absence can trigger a system-wide collapse, a cascade of failures that manifest as fatigue, poor performance, and a general malaise. Yet, despite its critical importance, it remains tragically and consistently overlooked by millions of men and even many of their doctors. This is not some exotic, difficult-to-obtain compound synthesized in a high-tech laboratory. It is a vitamin, more accurately a prohormone, that your body was brilliantly designed to create for itself, forged in the simple, primordial act of standing in the warm light of the sun. I am speaking, of course, about vitamin D. The gravity of this deficiency was made heartbreakingly clear to me not long ago when I sat with a 69-year-old man named John. He was a retired architect, a man with a brilliant, razor-sharp mind and a quick, infectious wit, who felt utterly trapped and betrayed by a body that had simply stopped listening to his commands. He confessed to me with a heavy heart and downcast eyes, his voice barely a whisper. "I want to feel close to my wife again. I truly, deeply do. We've been together for 45 years, but it's like there's a complete disconnect, a broken wire between my mind and my body. The desire is there, burning in my chest, but the physical response is just gone." His words were a quiet, poignant echo of a sentiment I have heard expressed in countless variations by men from all walks of life. The problem was not a deficiency of love, a lack of attraction, or a waning of desire. It was a profound, undiagnosed, and correctable physiological deficiency, and at its very core was a severe lack of vitamin D. For men navigating the complexities of life beyond 60, vitamin D's role expands far beyond its well-known function in promoting bone health. It is more accurate to think of it as the master controller, the grand architect of your entire circulatory system. Its presence in sufficient quantities acts as a crucial signal for the endothelial cells lining your blood vessels to produce a remarkable molecule called nitric oxide. Nitric oxide is the body's primary vasodilator, meaning it tells the smooth muscles in your artery walls to relax, to soften, and to open up. When your vitamin D levels are optimal, it is akin to opening the floodgates of a massive dam, allowing a powerful, unimpeded surge of rich, oxygenated blood to course through your entire body, nourishing every organ, every muscle, every nerve, and yes, reaching the very tissues and structures that are absolutely critical for strong and reliable sexual performance. Conversely, when your vitamin D levels plummet, as they do for well over 40% of all older adults and an even higher percentage in northern latitudes, those blood vessels begin to constrict and stiffen. Blood flow becomes sluggish and restricted. Your overall energy levels dip precipitously. Your cognitive function can feel foggy, and that potent, confident sense of masculine vitality begins to fade into a dull, frustrating memory. The modern tragedy is that even men who make a conscious effort to eat a healthy diet and get outside regularly are at significant risk. As we age, the skin's ability to synthesize vitamin D from sunlight exposure decreases dramatically, sometimes by as much as 75%. This means that the same 20 minutes of sun that gave you all the vitamin D you needed at age 30 is now woefully inadequate. Restoring this foundational element of your health, however, is remarkably simple. Aiming for 15 to 20 minutes of direct morning or midday sun on as much skin as is practical can work wonders for many. If consistent sun exposure is not a realistic option due to your climate, lifestyle, or skin cancer concerns, incorporating fatty fish like salmon, mackerel, and sardines, as well as fortified foods like milk and orange juice, can certainly help. However, for most men over 60, the most direct and reliable path to reopening these vital circulatory pathways and feeling truly alive again is a high-quality, daily vitamin D3 supplement, which can swiftly and efficiently replenish your body's stores and get the life-giving river of your circulation flowing freely once more. The spark plug for your engine. Now, even if you have successfully followed the blueprint laid out by vitamin D and have effectively opened up the vast, intricate highways of your circulatory system, you still need high-octane fuel in the tank and a powerful spark to ignite your body's engine. A state-of-the-art circulatory network is rendered functionally meaningless if you do not possess the raw cellular energy to do anything with that improved blood flow. This brings us directly to the second essential pillar of sustained masculine vitality, the vitamin that holds the primary responsibility for the miraculous process of converting the food you consume into pure, usable, high-octane power for your cells. Without an adequate supply of this critical nutrient, you could theoretically sleep for 10 hours every night, eat the most perfectly balanced and nutrient-dense diet imaginable, and yet still feel as though you are constantly running on fumes, struggling to get through the day on an empty tank. This is the crucial, non-negotiable role of vitamin B12. I am immediately reminded of a retired firefighter named Robert, a man of 72 who had built his entire life and identity around being the epitome of strength, reliability, and stamina. He had been the one who ran towards danger, who carried people from burning buildings, a true pillar of his community. Yet the man who sat before me was utterly and completely exhausted, a shadow of his former self. "Doc," he said, his voice laced with a mixture of confusion and despair. "I don't understand it. I go to bed early, I sleep like a log for 8 solid hours, but by noon, I'm completely out of gas. My wife wants to go for a walk, or my grandkids want to play in the yard, and I just can't summon the energy. When it comes time to be with my wife in the evening, I feel like I have absolutely nothing left to give her, or myself." Robert's story is the classic textbook signature of a burgeoning vitamin B12 deficiency. This remarkable vitamin is, quite literally, the spark plug for your entire metabolism. It is an essential cofactor in the complex series of biochemical reactions, often referred to as the Krebs cycle, that takes place inside the mitochondria of your cells, transforming the carbohydrates and fats from your diet into adenosine triphosphate, ATP, the universal energy currency that powers your every single move, thought, and heartbeat. But its critical job description does not end there. Vitamin B12 is also absolutely vital for the formation of healthy red blood cells, the tiny, tireless vehicles that are responsible for carrying life-giving oxygen through those circulatory highways that vitamin D worked so hard to open up. When your B12 levels are low, a condition known as pernicious anemia can develop, meaning you produce fewer, larger, and less effective red blood cells. As a result, you not only feel physically drained and perpetually fatigued, but you also begin to experience a constellation of neurological symptoms, including mental fog, poor concentration, memory lapses, and a dramatic drop in stamina, all because your brain and muscles are being systematically starved of the oxygen they need to function at their peak. The specific challenge for men over 60 is that our digestive systems, particularly the stomach, become progressively less efficient at extracting vitamin B12 from food. This is because the stomach produces less hydrochloric acid and a critical protein called intrinsic factor, both of which are required to cleave B12 from the protein in food and transport it into the bloodstream. This means that even if you maintain a diet rich in B12 sources like meat, fish, poultry, and eggs, you can still become profoundly deficient. The solution to this metabolic bottleneck, however, is wonderfully straightforward. A high-quality vitamin B12 supplement, particularly one in its biologically active, pre-converted methylcobalamin form, can effectively bypass this compromised digestive absorption issue and deliver this essential energy-producing nutrient directly to your cells where it is so desperately needed. For men like Robert, discovering this was like finding the master switch for their internal power grid and finally being able to flip it back on, bringing a renewed clarity to their minds and a welcome surge of deep, lasting stamina back to their bodies. The guardian of your masculinity, with your circulation now flowing freely and your cellular energy levels being restored to their former glory, there is one final, critical piece to this intricate puzzle of renewed vitality. Your body, especially as it ages, can be likened to a high-performance, classic automobile. It needs more than just open roads and good fuel. It requires constant protection from the elements. The natural, cumulative wear and tear of aging, combined with environmental toxins and lifestyle stressors, creates a persistent, low-grade state of inflammation and oxidative stress throughout your system. You can think of this process as a slow, silent, and insidious form of rust that gradually corrodes your internal machinery from the inside out, damaging the delicate lining of your blood vessels, disrupting your sensitive hormonal balance, and accelerating the overall aging process. This is precisely where our third essential vitamin makes its grand entrance, acting as the vigilant guardian of your long-term health and the tireless protector of your very masculinity. We are, of course, talking about the profound protective power of vitamin E. I vividly recall a deeply insightful conversation I had with James, a 70-year-old retired airline pilot who had lived a life defined by precision, discipline, and meticulous attention to detail. He exercised regularly, ate a clean, whole foods diet, and by all external measures, did everything right to maintain his health. Despite his efforts, however, he felt a profound and deeply unsettling sense of decline. "I just feel off," he admitted, struggling to find the right words. "It's not one big thing. It's 100 little things. My drive is gone, not just in the bedroom, but my drive to get up and tackle projects. I don't bounce back from physical exertion like I used to. And honestly," he said, looking me straight in the eye, "I don't feel like a man anymore. I feel like a faded copy of myself." His words were a gut punch, precisely because he was trying so incredibly hard, yet some fundamental protective element was clearly missing from his regimen. That something, that missing guardian, was the potent, fat-soluble antioxidant power of vitamin E. Vitamin E is one of the body's most potent antioxidants, a cellular warrior that tirelessly seeks out and neutralizes the unstable molecules known as free radicals that cause oxidative stress and drive the inflammatory process that silently wreaks so much havoc as you age. This chronic inflammation is particularly damaging to the cardiovascular system, as it makes the delicate endothelial lining of your blood vessels stiff, brittle, and prone to damage. This, in turn, slows circulation and directly contributes to the very performance issues that men like James experience with such frustration. By quenching this fire of inflammation, vitamin E helps to keep your arteries flexible, pliable, and healthy, ensuring that the robust blood flow improved by vitamin D can reach its intended destination without impediment. But perhaps its most crucial and often underappreciated role for an aging man lies in its direct support of testosterone production. Testosterone levels naturally and progressively decline in most men after the age of 60, leading to a well-documented drop in energy, muscle mass, motivation, mood, and libido. Vitamin E plays a vital role in protecting the specialized cells in the testes, known as Leydig cells, which are responsible for manufacturing testosterone. These cells are particularly vulnerable to oxidative stress. Vitamin E acts as a dedicated bodyguard for these cells, shielding them from damage and thereby creating a more favorable internal environment for your body to maintain its own natural, healthy hormonal balance. This is not about artificially boosting a hormone. It is about protecting and preserving your body's innate capacity to produce what it needs to function. This is about preserving that core, foundational sense of masculine vitality, confidence, and overall well-being. Ensuring you have an adequate intake of this protective nutrient is easily achievable through a diet rich in foods like almonds, sunflower seeds, spinach, and avocados, or through supplementation with a natural, high-quality, full-spectrum vitamin E that can act as your body's indispensable daily defense system against the ravages of time. The vitality triangle and the one mistake to avoid. Individually, as we have seen, these three essential vitamins, D, B12, and E, are remarkably powerful agents for health and renewal in the male body. But when you bring them together in a consistent, coordinated, and intelligent manner, something truly transformative and almost magical begins to happen. Their effects do not merely add to one another in a linear fashion. They multiply and amplify each other's benefits, creating a powerful, self-reinforcing synergy that I have come to call the vitality triangle. Imagine it as a perfectly designed system for revitalization. Vitamin D acts as the civil engineer, opening up and widening the critical circulatory pathways, the highways of your body. Vitamin B12 then steps in as the logistics and energy expert, fueling the red blood cells that travel those pathways with the oxygen and cellular energy they need to power every function. Finally, vitamin E serves as the vigilant security and maintenance crew, protecting the pathways themselves from the corrosive damage of inflammation and oxidative stress, while also guarding the hormonal command center that governs your fundamental drive and strength. It is a perfect, elegant, self-reinforcing loop of holistic health. I saw this dynamic interplay firsthand with a former high school football coach named Walter, a robust man of 68, who had been taking various vitamins piecemeal for years with little to no noticeable effect. He had tried a multivitamin here, a B complex there, but felt perpetually stuck in a state of low energy and flagging spirits. It was not until he made the conscious decision to combine high-quality, bioavailable forms of all three, vitamin D3, methylcobalamin B12, and a full-spectrum vitamin E, and take them consistently that he walked into my office a few months later with a broad, genuine grin on his face. "Doc," he said, with a renewed sparkle in his eye, "I don't know how to explain it. It's like I've had a complete engine swap. I have the energy for my morning workouts again, and the recovery time is half of what it was. My wife and I even went out dancing last weekend, something we haven't done in a decade." This is the profound power that awaits any man willing to listen to his body, yet tragically, so many will never experience it. They will fail, not because the science is flawed or because their bodies are beyond repair, but because they will make one simple, common, yet utterly catastrophic mistake. The single biggest mistake that prevents men from reclaiming their vitality is not a lack of effort, but a fundamental lack of wisdom in their approach. It is the flawed assumption that any bottle of vitamins pulled from the shelf of a big box store will do the job adequately. They reach for the cheapest, most convenient, and most commonly available synthetic versions of these nutrients, pop a pill each day, and then wonder with growing frustration why nothing significant changes. This is precisely like putting contaminated, low-octane, watered-down fuel into the tank of a Ferrari and then complaining that it sputters, stalls, and fails to perform. The quality, form, and bioavailability of your vitamins are not minor details. They are everything. Your body cannot properly utilize the cheaper plant-derived vitamin D2. It requires the highly absorbable body-ready D3 form. It struggles to perform the multi-step conversion of the synthetic cyanocobalamin form of B12, especially with an aging digestive system. It needs the active, ready-to-use methylcobalamin form that can get straight to work. Furthermore, many common synthetic vitamin E supplements contain only one of the 8 compounds of the vitamin E family, alpha-tocopherol, which, when taken in isolation, can create imbalances and lacks the full-spectrum protective benefits your body truly requires. The second, equally critical part of this mistake is a lack of consistency. Taking a supplement only when you remember or for a week here and there is as futile as trying to fill a bathtub with a thimble. Your body is a biological system that thrives on routine and requires a steady, consistent, daily supply of these key nutrients to repair cellular damage, rebuild its depleted energy stores, and methodically rebalance its intricate hormonal systems. The solution, thankfully, is not complicated or demanding. It is about building a simple, sustainable, and non-negotiable daily foundation for your health. It is about making a conscious choice. Start your day with a high-quality B12 supplement to ignite your energy. Get your 20 minutes of morning sunlight for vitamin D, or take a D3 supplement with a meal that contains healthy fats like avocado or olive oil to maximize absorption. Snack on a handful of raw almonds or sunflower seeds for a natural boost of vitamin E. These small, consistent, daily acts, performed with an unwavering commitment to quality, are the seemingly insignificant habits that accumulate to create profound and lasting change. This journey is not about finding a fleeting quick fix. It is about making a deep and meaningful commitment to yourself. It is a decision that you are worth the investment of time and resources. You are still in the driver's seat of your life, and it is never, ever too late to feel strong, energized, and fully, confidently, and unapologetically yourself once again.